Alrighty, hello. I'm just pulling up. I've got my phone here, guys, so I can see your comments as you come through tonight. So if you jump on, please say hello. Let me know you're here. If you're watching the replay, comment underneath and let me know that you have seen this. Just write replay. I love knowing who has engaged with my content, and it means that I can, have conversations with you further. So tonight, I want to talk to you about the first step you must take if you're going to set a goal in any area of your life. And this is the step that most people miss. And this is the reason that they set goals and don't follow through. What I'm going to share tonight is an absolute game changer, my friends. So I'm excited to share it with you. And this is one of those things, though, that it's information that you can absorb, you can process, you can understand, but you have to implement in order to have the effect, have an impact in your life. So listen up, and then I'm hoping that this inspires you to actually take action. Let this be the time that you actually do something with the information you receive. So what I first want to talk about is the problem with the way that most people set goals for themselves. So we set goals based on an outcome that we think is important to us. So it could be a certain amount of weight that we want to lose. It could be a financial goal that we have. It could be a relationship status that we want to, call in and claim for ourselves. Whatever it is, we set goals based on an outcome that we perceive will be important, will make us feel happy, will make us successful in some way. That's what we do. However, what we fail to sometimes do is stop and consider what life will be like in pursuit of that goal.
And sometimes, because we spend so much time on considering the why for the goal, yeah, we hear this all the time. What's your why? You need to articulate why that goal is important. Sometimes, because we've made the why so important, so clear, and that goal seems like it is the absolute epitome of everything we need to, focus on in our life, we sacrifice ourselves and the way that life feels in pursuit of that goal. Now, sometimes we don't realize we're doing that as we set to, do the things that we need to do to achieve the goal. But what happens is life becomes overwhelming. Life doesn't feel the way that we want it to feel. What we have committed to is not aligned to our values. Our priorities are kind of skewed. So, what we think we want, yeah, requires us to do things that we don't enjoy doing. Anyway, what happens, long story short, is that the process of achieving the goal is not something that we can actually commit to. Even though we are so committed to that goal, what we have had to do to achieve the goal is not something that we've been able to commit to, not just from a psychological and emotional level. That's one thing, right? You know that I talk passionately about how our deep driving desires need to be in full alignment to the goals that we set. Tonight, what I'm talking about is that sometimes we set goals for ourselves with aspiration to achieve and succeed and create and bring about certain things that we actually just don't have the freaking time to do. And this is why we become overwhelmed. This is why we can't follow through. This is why we struggle to maintain commitment and consistency. And so tonight, I'm going to show you what I think everyone must first do before they commit themselves to any goal. Yeah, because we talk about commitment and consistency as being key factors in being able to achieve goals. But how the hell do we become committed and consistent? It's scheduling, my friends. And I know that's so unsexy, and you're probably rolling your eyes and thinking, oh my God, that's so boring. Feels like we're back in school and mum's saying, go do your homework. I'm saying, go sort your schedule out. But here is why, my friends. Having clarity around your schedule isn't just about making sure that every single minute of your day is productive and efficient and effective, right? It's not about that. What I believe scheduling allows us to do is take a bird's eye view of the things that we have committed ourselves to over a week, over a month, over a quarter, whatever it is. And we can objectively look at our schedule and anticipate how that is going to feel. And then we can make a decision about whether this is the life that we want to live. Now, sometimes you might have set goals for yourself that do require a certain level of discomfort, right? And you might think that that goal is that important that you are willing to be uncomfortable, inconvenienced, pushed to your limits for this amount of time if you can achieve that goal. And if you can see that and you know what you are walking into and you can commit to that and double down on that, power to you. But for most of us, the goals that we have set for ourselves aren't that important that we are willing to live a life that feels uncomfortable 7 days a week. Or we are women who have so many other things that we are responsible for and that we have to attend to. And so we actually don't have the time required to achieve the goal in the way that we had anticipated that we would. And when we don't show up to achieve our goals with the same level of commitment and enthusiasm and follow through as we anticipated that we would, or that we promised ourselves we would, we think we're failing. And so we think because we're failing, that goal is no longer achievable, or we just don't like the feeling of failing, so we disregard the goal altogether. What I'm here to say to you is that having a schedule allows you to adjust your goal and the timeline you set and the things that you have committed to in order to achieve the goal. It allows you to consider all of that ahead of time and make sure that what you are doing is practical and that it feels good. Now, there's two ways that we go about this. And tonight I'm going to just cover them briefly. this isn't, like I said, this is supposed to be an express training and just a way for you to just stop and consider the way that you set goals and see if there's some like missing pieces to the puzzle that finally make sense. What I'm hoping is that you go, I've never really stopped to think about these things as I've set goals. And you finally go, oh, that's the missing piece of the puzzle. If I could do that, it might make a difference and I can try something new next time. That's my hope. So, as we're setting goals for ourselves, what I first like anybody to do is complete an exercise similar to that of the Wheel of Life. And if you watched a live video that I did last week, I said that that was self-development 101. Any course, any program, any workshop, any coach I've ever worked with has, given me some sort of version of the Wheel of Life to work with. And so what the Wheel of Life is, I actually did a coaching call with someone just before. So I've got one here. I don't know that you'll be able to read it, but it looks like this, the Wheel of Life. And so for each person, you decide what the different areas of your life. So it's very confusing because it's backwards. When I move this way, it looks the opposite way on the screen for me. You decide the different areas of your life that are areas of priority to you. And I think it works best if people decide what their areas of priority are. So you see this wheel, this client that I worked with today, she decided for herself that it was relationships, personal growth, career, finance, creativity, social life, lifestyle, and health. These were the things in her life. If she took a 360-degree view of her life, these were the areas that she wanted to invest time, energy, money, resources into that would give her a fulfilled life. And so we looked at all of these areas of her life and she rated them from 1 to 10, 10 being that it's absolutely amazing, I'm crushing it, I'm living my life in this area the way that, feels the best that it could be for me. And 1 being like, I'm so unhappy in this area of my life, it needs so much of my attention. So you go through and you rate all of those areas of your life. And what that does for you is allows you to see where you're doing really well, and you can reflect on that and replicate the things that are doing well for you. And in the areas that are currently, not what you desire life to be like, you can turn some attention towards that. And so my feeling is, as we create a schedule, we should be aiming to ensure that the areas that we are trying to improve appear on our schedule consistently. If relationship is one of the areas on your wheel of life that is suffering, you need to make sure that your schedule is loaded with opportunities for your relationship to be boosted, to be nurtured, to have that love put back into it. If you create a schedule that is in contrast to your relationship being nurtured, it's not going to improve your wheel of life. And sometimes it takes us sitting down and looking at the different areas of our life to understand what our schedule should look like in order for us to feel that life isn't just this hamster wheel of same. If there's areas of your life that need change, it means you need to make change. So we consider all of this when we're making our schedule. And then, we work with the Wheel of Life as we're setting our goals. Because when you work with me, your goal needs to take all of that into account so that the goal that you set isn't going to worsen your Wheel of Life. It should be cultivating more of what you want to appear in your life. And so that's just something to be mindful of and to consider before you set your schedule. And as you set your schedule, having this Wheel of Life and cross-checking, does my schedule reflect what I'm hoping to achieve as the Wheel of Life rotates in the next quarter of my life? Will this schedule improve the outcomes of my Wheel of Life? It's a great way to cross-check what you are doing and the intention that you have for your life. Because some of us will set intentions daily and we think, come on, I'm doing the daily practice, I'm calling all the good shit in, but then we're just on repeat. We're not actually changing anything. We're not focusing our attention on the areas of our life that need our attention. So that's the first thing I would say. If you think about your week that you just had, it's Friday, what areas of your life had the most energy, resources, time, input, and what areas suffered? And is that okay with you? Not every area of our life is going to require the same amount of dedication and time and energy, but it's up to us to decide which areas of our life we are focusing on, which areas of our life we want to improve, which areas of our life would be the most meaningful and fulfilling for us if we could make them a 10 on the scale. Once we have all of that, the next thing that I wanted to show you, and I'm going to share my screen, is how simple it is to go through and make your schedule. So let's hope this works. I'm going to share my screen. Let's have a little look. You're on my Facebook. Here we go. All right. I'll just wait. There's a little bit of a lag on, I can see myself over here on my phone, just to make sure that it comes up for you guys. Yes, it's coming up. All right. So I'll continue. So what you can see here, guys, is my Google Calendar for next week. And what I wanted to show you is the simplicity of it. Now, there's no right or wrong way to create a schedule. I'm actually a person that really likes writing things down. However, I have found that having a schedule like this allows me to take that bird's eye view that I spoke about before. It allows me to look at my week, objectively, and very quickly anticipate the way that it is going to feel. Now, let me explain it to you. So on a Monday, so this coming Monday, I have not scheduled anything. I know I'm a person that really needs freedom and flexibility in my week. And if I see a week that is blocked out, just full of things, I feel like I have a chokehold on me and I can't breathe, right? I don't like feeling controlled. I don't like having rules. I don't like things that I have to do. I actually hate commitment, even if I've made the commitments, right? So it's very important to me that there are days in my week that are completely open and free. Now, I will say I sit down every morning and look at my schedule. And if you've worked with me, you know I've showed the 3-column system that I use for planning my day. So it's not like I go into the day without a plan, but it just means that I only schedule the things that are absolutely non-negotiable in my week, the things that are going to move the needle forward in my life, the things that I have to do to achieve the goals that I have set for myself. So there are days that are completely blank. Yeah. And that's what feels good to me. What feels good to you might be having complete clarity for your whole week. Up to you. It's a conversation you have with your coach as you're working out what your schedule should look like. Now, what I want to show you is I color code everything. So orange for me is exercise. Green is Tyson, my son related. Yellow is work for the gym that I do. Pink is appointments to do with my coaching and my programs that I cannot change. And then I have some other colors in there. Anyway, I won't go through everything. It's not important what all my colors mean, but it is important that I kind of know what everything means ahead of time, right? And the thing is, I have purple as being my color for self-care. And so I can see on a Tuesday and a Wednesday, they're very busy days for me. They're the days that my son is in daycare. I've got half an hour on a Tuesday, and I have given myself, there's a good 90 minutes on a Wednesday for self-care. And that's all that there is in 2 big days where I'm energetically, because that's the type of work that I do, giving a lot all day long. And so I can see when I look at my week, what it means to me is I know that on Monday, I'm going to have to fill my cup right up, and the same on Thursday. And so Thursday is a day that Tyson is actually in daycare as well, but I make sure that I don't take bookings, appointments, anything on that Thursday. I will do work. I'll do work that's left over from the Tuesday, Wednesday, but I don't make appointments. You can't touch me on a Thursday, because I just know energetically what happens is I give so much of myself on the Tuesday and Wednesday that by Thursday, my introverted spirit needs time to be alone, and I need to work from home and I need silence. I've made that decision for myself. It's really simple. And it's easy for me to look at my days and just know what they are going to feel like and anticipate how I can best support myself on those days, right? I'm not that busy, really, but it can feel like I am, because what happens is I have so much to do on Tuesday and Wednesday. I'm thinking about it on Monday and I'm gearing myself up for it. Yeah. And then there's always an overflow to Thursday and Friday, things that I didn't get to do on Tuesday and Wednesday that overflow onto Thursday and Friday. And I've learned that. I used to pack my week out, and I will say now, what's really important to know is that this schedule looks very differently from a schedule I would have had before I was a mum. Before I was a mum, I still would only work 3 days a week. That's a lifestyle choice I made for myself. But it was longer days, right? Because I had the luxury of being able to just, push myself that little bit more. Now I have learned, if I push myself too hard, the unexpected will pop up. I could have a late night with my son or whatever, and it just becomes stressful and all the wheels fall off. So I make sure that I give myself that Thursday and that Friday to catch up on anything that I don't get done on Tuesday and Wednesday. And usually it's only a few hours of work I might need to catch up on. But having a toddler around me means that something that might take somebody else 2 hours, if you have a toddler around you, it could take up to 5. It's distracted, it's disjointed. Anyway, and so that's the simplicity of it. Let me show you how it works. If you've never used Google Calendar before, it is the easiest thing. It is free. So you would click on to whatever time that you want to. You literally just click, and it comes up, and you could put whatever you wanted to put in there, and you just type in whatever you are doing. So if you had, I don't know, a hairdressing appointment, wouldn't that be nice? And then you just put whatever time. You can say if you want it to be a reminder or whatever, if it's a task, an event, you can put a description. I just find an event is like the easiest thing, but you can, if you need to put more information, you can put it in there. Or if you're reminding yourself of something, I just use events. Because like I said, I still use a paper diary to flesh things out. This is just me being able to see my week at a bird's eye view. You change the time. So whatever time it's going to be, how long it goes for, does not repeat. So if it's something that occurs weekly, so Tyson's daycare drop-offs, for example, I can say, weekly, every Thursday or whatever it is, so that you don't have to keep repeating the same things. It becomes automated and really easy to set your week up every week, especially for me. A lot of my things are repeated. And then the other thing that I would say, I like to come down here and just change the color and color code things, so that at a glance I can see how much I've got of what. I won't save that. And that's as simple as it is. And I highly, highly recommend that you do it just 1 week at a time. Pick one day of the week. Or even, if you're feeling some kind of way and you're not sure why, sometimes plotting your week out like this on a schedule can allow you to see, like, man, I'm spending so much time doing this one type of activity that I don't really like. So you might be able to change it, or you might be able to, just prompt yourself to take breaks during the day, to get up and move. Like sometimes I can see, next week won't be too bad, but there was a day this week that, to get through everything that I had to do, it was like 7 hours of work I had to do. And so looking at that ahead of time, I was able to say to myself, make the decision. I was going to get up, set an alarm every 50 minutes and get up and spend 10 minutes walking around, because I anticipated that if I sit at my desk for 7 hours, that's going to feel like shit. So it just gives you just that little bit of foresight to look at your week, anticipate what it's going to be like, ask for help where you're going to need it. And then the biggest thing here, guys, is when I look at my week, if I'm considering setting a new goal for myself, it allows me to see how I would be able to fit that into my week. For so many women, when they go to set weight loss goals for themselves, they don't fully anticipate how much time it's going to take them to prep the food and get to the gym and do the workout or whatever it is. And so we need to make sure before we're committing to things, it actually fits into our schedule. You can see, bless my heart, on a Wednesday, I get up at 4:45 in the morning on that day to go to the gym, because the goals that I have for myself, the way that I want to experience myself in the day, it's important to me to move at the beginning of that day. I need to. Or all day I'm thinking, oh, I should have trained. I love it that much. And so I prioritize that and I go super early. You know, had I not made that schedule, I might have thought to myself, oh, I'll find time during the day, but I literally won't. There's literally not a spare minute for me to get to the gym. So this schedule allows me to understand what my week is going to be like and whether I can actually follow through on the goals that I've set for myself. So this is what I really recommend for you guys. Setting your week up like this, color coding it, looking at it, and from that place, we make decisions. From that place, we begin to understand why we feel the way that we do. You know, if you run down, if you're overwhelmed, sometimes it's legitimately because your week is just packed out and it's just, so much of things that you don't enjoy. And you might look at, what would I need to change? What would my ideal week look like? Is there wiggle room for me to shift things around or include some more self-care in my week so that I feel better supported? It's a really powerful exercise, and I highly recommend that you do it, guys, particularly before you go setting goals for yourself. It's not to say that the goal will change necessarily, although in some cases it does, but your timeline for achieving it might change because you realize, okay, I might not have as much time as I had anticipated to get to the gym. So I might need to just, take the expectation off how quickly my results are going to come. I can't get to the gym 5 days a week like I thought I could. It's not going to happen. So rather than feeling like you're failing when you can't because you're so tired or you don't have the time or you're just pressed for time, you can ahead of time clearly state, this is where I can make that happen for myself. This is where it's going to happen. And you feel really good. You feel confident when you're able to do that. You have clarity around what your week is going to feel like and produce for you. So I hope this has helped some of you guys. I think for so many of us, we don't take ourselves seriously enough. You don't have to be a woman in business to create a schedule for yourself. My God, I know as a mum at home how much we have to do all day. And if you just try and put that into a schedule, you know, you realize you don't have much time in your day to do the things that you feel pressured to do. So sometimes the best thing that we can do for ourselves is see that and just relieve the pressure because we realize I can't. Or if the goal is that important and we're frustrated by the fact that we can't, something's going to have to give. We're going to have to change our schedule in such a way that it reflects our priorities. It reflects the way that we want our wheel of life to look and feel. But there are decisions to be made. We can't make decisions without data, without information that compels us to actually take action and make those decisions and create a new reality for ourselves. Alrighty, guys, I hope this has helped somebody tonight. Please let me know if you have any tips and tricks for the way that you schedule your week or what you reflect on. I'd love to hear it. I'm going to leave it there. Alrighty, guys. Have a great night. I love you, and I'll speak to you again soon.